Yeah, so on behalf of myself and also Professor Leonard Sherlock, who wasn't able to make it today, I'd like to thank ACTA for the award. It's incredibly meaningful to receive the recognition of our peers in clinical trial design and biostats. I'd also really like to thank the Australian Stroke Alliance for their support for the trial, as well as the principal investigators for the trial, Vignan Yogadrakama and Annabella Bansky, plus Steve Davis and Jeff Donald, who provided senior clinical support throughout. Trials often require some creativity in their design in order to best answer a research question at hand, but when we sat down to start designing this trial, I don't think any of us really quite understood what we were getting ourselves into. It's not every day that a trial forces you to consistently scratch your head, go away, think, and then come back and propose something novel in terms of how you're going to go about it. Because the trial was fundamentally about a multifaceted research question where our clinical collaborators cared about safety, timely decision-making, and resource efficiency, we had to reach for a novel win ratio outcome approach rather than just falling back on the normal typical outcome measures we use in stroke research. We also had decided very early on that we wanted to ensure that staff training on board the mobile stroke units was balanced across the two groups. But our early discussions with our clinical collaborators threw several wrinkles into what we thought was going to be a reasonably easy design choice, in that it quickly became apparent that not only would randomization need to be done at the daily level, so clustered within days, not sites, it would need to be done a week in advance based on a staff schedule which could potentially change after the point of randomization. So that forced a second piece of novelty on top of the outcome measure, where we effectively had to take existing adaptive randomization methods such as biased point minimization and modify it to randomize a week in advance at a cluster level based on the anticipated staffing on each day and the anticipated number of people that would be seen on each day. We ultimately also had to build out the infrastructure to support that. We settled on a locally run Shiny app that would allow randomization to be conducted by the clinicians that were actually running the trial on a day-to-day basis. It's important to note that neither of these pieces of novelty would have been possible without the enthusiastic support of the clinical team behind this trial. While we proposed both of the approaches, the individual components of the outcome measure plus all of the thresholds that we used were fundamentally driven by them. Likewise, the Shiny tool that made the adaptive randomization process we used for this possible was developed in partnership with them because it was something that they were actually piloting. While the need for novelty ultimately led to multiple headaches along the way and several long discussions in the offices about how they're going to deal with it, it ultimately was a fantastic opportunity to stretch the limits of what's possible in trials, and it was incredibly rewarding to be a part of. And honestly, it was a bit of a testament to what can be achieved when clinicians and statisticians are willing to try something new together. Thanks a lot.